Prince William has far more serious things to deal with than his brother.
Oh, yes.
That's what it appears. You know, and do you think he's in a better place now than he was, well, last year? When
Definitely. Last year, I always think of that, the quotes he gave when he was in Cape Town, talking about what a brutal year it had been. I think that was it October, November, and so this time last year they were really in the thick of it, and we only found out afterwards just how bad just how difficult and challenging it had been for the family behind the scenes. So 12 months on. Thankfully, Catherine seems to be doing a lot better, and she's in remission now, and they're both back at work. All of that probably has really helped his, as we said earlier, his headspace to say, well, I'm also going to draw the line in the sand on Harry. I'm looking forward. It's been a really difficult time, and I don't have the energy to focus on things like that, really.
There are too many things happening without being disrupted by his brother going off-piste. They're far more important things. His brother's decided on his way of life, and until such time he decides to change and apologise to the family, William has cut his own path. His own path is his family and the country and the monarchy.
I get the impression he was possibly quietly seething for a long time, and that headspace, as they describe, he's clear now. He's not kind of, personally grieving or seething about what's happened to his brother. He's just parked that and he's moved on with the important stuff.
There was this massive hurdle last year with his wife having the abdominal operation and then being diagnosed with a cancer. And that's difficult for any family. You don't have to be royal to have to be confronted with difficulties like that. And he's come through it. Catherine's come through it. She's happier. The children are happier. He's happier. Now he can get on with the job, and the job of monarchy.
Well, Dickie, that's the time when you need your brother when your wife has cancer. That's the time when you need him standing next to you, helping out and chatting to you and supporting you.
He had his aunt, he had his uncle, he had his father, and he had his stepmother. What more can you ask for when your brother's gone off-piste?
Long-standing royal watchers know there's been tension between William and Harry for years. But now insiders say a dramatic shift has happened. William is finally putting his agenda first, and Harry? He's no longer the priority. Tonight, we dive into what caused the fracture, why William's mood changed, and how this shapes the future of the monarchy. The brothers were once partners in the making, soldier prince and younger brother, bound by grief, purpose, and legacy. But cracks appeared. Harry's rebellion, media dramas, the Sussex exit. William watched. He got angry. He matured. Sources say William was seething, feeling betrayed, overlooked, and forced into supporting roles when he wanted to lead. William's demeanor changed. What was once brotherly banter became cold distance. According to insiders, the real turning point wasn't a public fight but a private realization that William couldn't wait any longer. He's taken serious issues on his plate, from reducing monarchy size to navigating global politics, and he expects loyalty, not drama. Harry's distractions, his media projects, his feuds, they started to look like baggage to William. And he decided, the monarchy needs progress, not protest.
Fair enough. And we mentioned the Princess of Wales there, and that that William is going to be happy that the Princess of Wales is recovering. But we did have a little bit of a scare last week. Bronte, should we pull back the curtain and reveal what actually happens with Royal Exclusive? Yes. We went to Ascot together.
It was supposed to just be a very calm sort of work day. It was, at Royal Ascot with the other royal.
We got off the train, didn't we?
We got off the train. We were all dressed nicely. You were in your top hat. We were very excited to get inside and maybe have a champagne. Right at the gate, though, the news broke that Catherine would no longer be attending, and it really caused, for want of a better word, quite a kerfuffle. People were, you said it there, the word scare is right. Initially, with everything that's happened, and of course with the backdrop of the health issues last year, as soon as you have sort of that last minute news drop, it is going to spark a little bit of panic. So there was a lot of people sort of, especially where we were, of course, with all the royal reporters sort of checking in. Do we know what's happened? Bit of a worry.
Well, it's a bit of a mess, Dickie, because
happened before.
We were told that we were briefed that to expect the Princess of Wales, and they do that occasionally, and they say this is a good day to go, photographers know type thing, this is going to be a big event. So we were really excited about it and looking forward to that day. And then at midday, Ascot put out the carriage list, which they do. They announced the carriage list, which has been agreed with the royal family. 20 minutes later was when we got the message saying actually the Princess of Wales...
Well, in my day, the carriage list didn't go out until everybody was actually in the carriage, which is a long way down the other end of the course. and it takes a while to get up, by which time you can put the list out because it's confirmed the people are in there without jumping the gun. It was done some time ago on another event where I think she was supposed to go to Irish Guards, and it didn't happen. No, it's jumping the gun. It's an administrative error. Nothing to worry about because Carol Middleton was there engaging jollily with the king.
I think that was the biggest sign, wasn't it? Seeing her mother there and her husband there. We know, especially William in the past with everything last year, if things had been serious or if there had been something to worry about, you know, he would have had no qualms in being with her and looking after her and her mother as well. And they all did seem to be having a nice time. I think that was quickly, the fears were quickly abated because we realised that. But also, and we were talking about this earlier, last week, and for anyone that's not in the UK right now, last week was so hot. And I say this because, as you've mentioned, they get in the carriage. So at Windsor Castle, it's a long trip. We were outside watching the carriage procession with the royals going past for a very short period of time, really. And it was so hot. I think I was complaining nonstop. Sorry to anyone next to me. But it was boiling hot. And then you imagine if you're feeling even remotely off or fatigued, and again, with everything that's happened, it's completely understandable. And she's also coming off the back of a very busy week on other very hot days when she'd been out on display with the world's eyes on her, trooping the colour, the Garter ceremony. You know, I can very much understand saying, I'm not 100%, I'm not up to this. I can't sit there in the burning heat with everyone looking at me today. Completely fair enough. Again, we were out there for a short period of time and I made it known I was displeased.
William has quietly shifted into a new mode. The working monarch in waiting who acts doesn't announce. He's focusing on climate, defense, mental health. The kind of work that builds legacy, not headlines. And Harry? His brand of emotional reveal and grievances? It doesn't fit William's vision. The brother he once carried may now be an anchor he's ready to cut loose. For Harry, this shift is devastating. The mantle of brother in support is gone. The narrative wheel turned and he's still stuck spinning. A prince once central is now peripheral. Meanwhile, for the monarchy, this signals a reset.
I don't know what has changed, but certainly, as I said a moment ago, in my day, the list wasn't released until they were firmly in the carriages. The carriages were on the move. All you've got to do is pick up the phone and confirm the list they've got. It's not rocket science.
But say we said it was a scare. I mean, it's or I said it was a scare. Maybe I went over the top saying that, but it was a worry. But I think we would know if it was worse. We would be told. We would be told that.
I think for a couple of minutes, it's fair to say that when the news first dropped, only because of everything that had happened for that few minutes while everyone was sort of working out what was happening, and what a place to be with news like that coming through in a room full of royal reporters.
It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. It's caused them problems. But it does bring up the idea that if the Princess of Wales, she was out of duty for about 7 or 8 months last year, do we need more of the other royals to step up? We're looking a little bit slim with just the King, Queen.
You know, she was out. She was out for 7 or 8 months. The King was confined to his constitutional duty behind walls, rather than doing his job as head of nation, going out and about, which he really enjoys. We didn't suffer, and engagements weren't pared back. Other people jumped in. If you're going to say, do we need more? Who, for example?
Well, at Royal Ascot, when I was there, we were looking at them in the box. I mean, we had Zara, we had Beatrice, we had Eugenie,
Princess
we had
Anne
Peter
was very
Phillips.
clear that Zara and Peter Phillips are not royals. That's why they haven't got titles, and it's unfair to put that burden on them. They've got their own lives to lead, and they're doing it very well. If you're talking about the York girls, well, you know, it's all very well saying, well, you know, we'll bring those on board. Yes, they're invited to garden parties to fill the numbers. People like meeting them. They enjoy being at the garden party. But if you're going to start pushing them onto royal engagements, you're talking about paying. And who's going to pay? You know, already there are always question marks about the amount of money that the royal family get. It's there in the annual report how it's spent. And there's an extra wad of money at the moment for the resurfacing of Buckingham Palace, which has to be done. But at the end of the day, there's not a lot of money to go around. It might sound a lot, but for what they do and what it's spent on, there is not a lot of money to go around.
It would relieve the pressure that sometimes, or the exposure that the Princess of Wales suffered, last week and last year, where people were asking where it was.
Well, it didn't matter that she didn't go to Ascot. Come on, it's a social
occasion. But it would release the kind of pressure if there were more possibly other roles. Like, I'd love to see more from Sophie. I'd love to see Sophie pushed right to the front, and she
Well,
wants to do it.
Sophie is up front, and she's doing a lot, as is Edward doing a lot, and Anne has always done a lot. And look at the King. He's still having treatment every week, but he's soldiering on. He's doing a lot, as is Camilla. I think we're doing quite all right at the moment.
The family is moving on. The heir is positioning himself. William isn't waiting for Harry, he's leading without him. The public will notice. The difference between William's grounded service and Harry's visible turbulence couldn't be clearer. As William steps up, the question becomes, where does Harry stand? Is there room for both brothers in the future? Or was Harry's exit from royal life the final act of a divided path? William's era is quietly dawning. And if Harry wants to return, he'll have to choose service over spectacle. Something his brother mastered while he watched. Sibling rivalry is old news in the House of Windsor. But what's new is the direction. William isn't waiting for Harry anymore. He's moving forward without him. What do you think? Has Prince William stepped up, or has Harry stepped down? Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe for bold royal commentary, behind the palace insights, and the truth beyond the headlines.